It was a quiet Sunday morning in Seattle. The rain had just stopped, the streets still glistened with drops of silver, and the air smelled of pine and wet earth. At exactly 6:32 a.m., Emily Parker tied her shoes, slipped in her earbuds, and stepped out of her apartment for her regular morning jog through the Maplewood Trail, a calm, forested path she loved. She texted her best friend, "Same trail, same time, coffee after." That was the last message anyone ever got from her. By 8 o'clock, Emily hadn't returned. Her roommate called her phone. It rang once and then went silent. At first, she thought Emily had stopped for coffee or met someone, but as hours passed, fear began to grow. By noon, the police were called and a search was launched. Drones, dogs, volunteers, everyone joined. But the trail gave away nothing. It was as if Emily had vanished into thin air. Investigators checked her smartwatch data. It showed she was running normally until 6:47 a.m., when her heart rate spiked and the tracking suddenly stopped deep inside the woods. The device had also recorded something, an automatic emergency audio clip that lasted just 11 seconds. The sound of wind, heavy breathing, and then a whisper that made every officer's skin crawl. A man's voice saying, "Don't turn around." After that, silence. Detective Laura Mills took charge of the case. Calm, relentless, and known for her intuition, she immediately suspected foul play. The first lead came from a delivery driver named Jake Miller. A security camera had caught his van passing near the trail at the same time Emily disappeared. He had a minor record, trespassing, a fight years ago, but nothing major. He claimed he was delivering packages nearby. His GPS supported his route, but there was a 10-minute gap with no data, exactly when Emily vanished. Police searched his truck. They found traces of mud, the same kind of clay found along Maplewood Trail, but no sign of Emily, no weapon, no blood. Jake swore he was innocent. "I didn't even see her," he said. "I just deliver boxes." 3 days later, hikers found Emily's phone under a bush near an old park maintenance cabin, a mile off the main path. The phone was cracked, but still working, and the camera app was open as if she had been recording something. The footage was shaky: trees, footsteps, heavy breathing, then a sudden fall. For just one split second before the phone hit the ground, the lens caught a reflection of a man wearing a ranger's jacket. The park had only one ranger assigned to that area, Paul Hensley, a quiet man in his 50s who had worked there for more than 20 years. Locals described him as helpful, a little odd, but harmless. When questioned, Hensley said calmly, "I've seen her jogging before, but I haven't seen her in days." His alibi was simple. He claimed he was homesick that morning, but when detectives checked the logs, his park truck had been driven that day, and his house was barely 2 miles from where Emily disappeared. A search warrant was issued. His cabin looked ordinary at first: camping gear, tools, wildlife photos on the wall. But under a rug, officers found a trap door leading underground. A narrow staircase descended into darkness. The air smelled of mold, rust, and gasoline. At the bottom, a single bulb flickered. What they saw next froze them in place. There were old camcorders, shelves of VHS tapes labeled with names, and a wall covered with photos. All women, all joggers, all taken from hidden trail cameras. In one corner, there was a small cage, rusted and filthy. Inside were torn shoelaces and a single running shoe, Emily's. But there was no body, no blood, no fingerprints. Ranger Hensley was arrested immediately. As he was handcuffed, he smiled faintly and whispered, You'll never find her. She's part of the forest now.
Weeks passed. Search teams combed the forest every day. They found bones belonging to two women who had gone missing years ago. But Emily was still nowhere. The media went wild. The Maplewood Monster, they called him. Yet without Emily's body, the case felt incomplete. Then, exactly 1 month later, a new jogger reported seeing movement near the old maintenance cabin. Officers checked the area again and discovered something they had missed. A small metal door behind thick vines, leading into a storm tunnel that connected to an abandoned power facility. Inside the tunnel, they found a locked chamber. And inside that chamber was Emily Parker, alive. She was weak, terrified, dehydrated, but alive. She had survived on rainwater dripping through cracks in the ceiling. When rescued, her voice trembled as she said, "He watched me sleep through the vent." She explained that Hensley had trapped her there but never returned, probably because the search teams got too close. She had counted days by scratching the wall. She had never stopped hoping someone would find her. When confronted with Emily's survival, Hensley finally confessed. For almost 10 years, he had been recording women jogging through the trails using hidden cameras he called observation points. He said he wanted to preserve their beauty before the world ruined them. He had kidnapped 3 women. 2 were dead, buried deep in the forest. Emily was his latest victim, the only one who survived. He said she wasn't supposed to live, but when she fought back, he panicked and hid her instead of killing her. He told detectives, "She looked too alive to die." The court sentenced Hensley to life in prison without parole. The Maplewood Trail was closed forever, and the cabin was torn down. Emily spent months in recovery. The nightmares never stopped, but she rebuilt her life slowly. She moved away, changed her name, and never went jogging again. Before leaving Seattle, she sent a letter to Detective Laura Mills. It said, "Thank you for believing I was still out there. The forest remembers everything." Some crimes don't end with a body. Some end with survival and a silence that haunts forever. The story of the missing jogger became one of Seattle's most chilling cases, a reminder that danger doesn't always hide in the dark. Sometimes it wears a uniform, smiles politely, and watches you.